7 Division 1 round 8 here for the Japanese Grand Prix at Twin Ring Motegi. We have Platt on pole as normal, with Sire in second, Adam in third, Rick MotoGP making his debut is in fourth, with VTR in 5th place. Jack Berman is 6th, Finley is 7th, Nelson is 8th, Fadley is 9th, and Howling rounds out the field in 10th. Unfortunately, Sky Hadith, I sense he's fallen asleep due to the time differences, but he's young, so it happens. But let's see what can happen. Right, we're all ready. Let's go. Okay, can't. There we go. Platt has crossed the line in 1st place, but every single race so far, only once has he not crossed the line in first. Has he not won the race? That was in Estoril, when he lost out due to his monitor switching off and receiving a long lap penalty, which he already had anyway. But we are away, and Platt's had a perfect getaway, and Rick is the one who has got the best launch coming from the second row into turn 1 for the first time. So sitting the Aprilia up. Oh, when one of the Yamahas has gone down, that is... Oh, that's a red flag. Lost the end to Mucho, guys. Some drama's gone on the back. Right, let's give you about 10-15 seconds to calm down, understand the situation. We saw this in Division 2, but a lot worse, so the Division 1 guys isn't so bad. But hopefully we can go again and do this start a lot better this time. So Finley just needs to ready up, so I know he is ready and we can go. There we go. Now the Hondas were telling me just before this that despite this being the home track of Honda, it's going disastrously, so they're not playing their chances well, but you never know, they might spring up a surprise. We got the lights go on once again, and we are off. Rick once again getting an amazing start. He's going to go up the inside of Platt into turn 1. Always braked really early. Oh my god. So only Adam has gone down there. Rick being really unfortunate there at the start, being sat up by I think probably Adam actually, but Sire leads like we've seen a load before, but he makes mistakes in this situation. He shuts the door on Platt. He tries to go up the inside. Fadley trying to go up the inside of his teammate Rick, or Rick going up the inside of him, and here comes Howling looking up the inside. Now strong Howling is on the brakes, and he outbrakes Rick into turn 5. Rick looking a bit weak on the brakes, and Howling's actually completely outbroke himself. That's why he warned us. Nelson warned about how bad the Hondas are into that corner specifically. They cannot make it. But here we go, into the chicane they go, and it is Siren the lead, but he's only just in front of Platt. Platt looking all the ways to get through in VTR. He was annoyed with his qualifying, so he could have done a lot better lap, and he was in power too. So let's see if he can pull a move on Platt to try and disturb his rhythm. And Platt, oh here we go, Platt looking up the inside into the hairpin, but Sire heavy on the brakes, really heavy on the brake. Oh, there's contact between VTR and Nelson. I didn't quite see what happened. Rick fending off his teammate, but the Yamaha is going to lose out to the Ducati here. This is going to be really easy for Platt. Hard onto the brakes. Sire's got to brake him. Side by side they go round. Sire goes going to go round the outside. He forces Platt to Oh, and both go onto the gravel, and Black takes the lead of this race. And for some reason the Pramac has changed to red. Oh, it's like a forces his way through. That was a very aggressive move, I have to say. Jesus. But here we go. From the helicopter view, the Pramac turns into its former livery, which I actually prefer, so I ain't gonna complain. But Nelson's in second place. We've seen him do this kind of thing before. He has not got the pace, but he's kept himself clean in the opening lap, and he finds himself in second place. Platt in third. I think this is the lowest we've seen him, naturally, without a crash or a bad start. He was forced down to the position. Hard onto the brakes. Into turn 5, Rick is approaching. VTL, who lost quite a lot of ground due to, I think, Nelson forcing his way through it, that one of the hairpins. And here we go into the chicane. Nelson's Honda moving all over the place. And Platt just going to have to wait to try and find his way through. But here we go. Is this where he can do it? Up the inside. Around the outside. Can't quite do it. Up the inside, into the hairpin, no. The Honda's going to take the V-line. It's really renowned for in the past few rounds. And the Honda just escapes in the first initial part of acceleration. But Nelson's also lagging a little bit, so that could be very dangerous. Black goes right into the back of Nelson. That's caused him to really outbrake himself. And he's going to just emerge in front of Rick. That was quite scary, I'd imagine, for Rick there. As now we've changed direction for the victory corner, and we start lap number 3 with Sire starting to pull a little bit of a gap, 0.8 of a second. Sire and Nelson first and second. We saw that a lot last season. The top 4 covered by just under 2 seconds, and Fadley has gone down, so that's one of the Aprilia's down on his return race after staying awake for the first time in quite a few weeks. And Nelson running a bit hot into turn 3. Platty's the plan has worked for the guys. They finally managed to disturb his rhythm, and he's having to work harder than I think he has all season long. But here we go. Platt's got so much corner speed compared to the Honda, and here we go into the chicane, but he just can't quite get underneath. And Nelson, he is one of the most aggressive when it comes to defending. All you have to do is just look back through VollGazz's history in any class, and Nelson is the worst person to find, especially if he has confidence in braking. Good luck to you. But here we go, Platt on the inside into the hairpin. He sits the Honda up and he takes second position. But can the Honda do anything about the Ducati? In the slipstream, he's going to pull out to the right. He's going to try and go up the inside, holding the brakes. So he's going to go to the outside. He's going to go on the curb. The front shakes. He goes round the curb, and he's made the corner. Fair play. That should not have worked, but he's made the corner. But 1.8 seconds now the gap from second to the lead. Oh, and Nelson not able to change direction as well there. Can Nelson fight back? Oh, the Pramac Ducati. You can just tell Platt has more confidence on that front end than the Honda. Ducati just it's the better bike to be on, and Platt is definitely the rider of the season so far. He's pretty much dominated every session possible. I don't think he's not been in a situation he hasn't been first at the end of a session, so the dominance he's had. But Sire, he's been in this situation before, and every time so far he's ended up on the floor. He's just got to stay calm, and let's see what can happen. We've got Jack Berman in 5th. So I don't forget, I've been told specifically to look at this. So Nelson running a special helmet design for this weekend, since it is HRC's home Grand Prix. As you can see, it's got all kinds of Japanese writing and symbols. on this lid, as well as Finley, who's running the same sort of idea. Looking, it's very Marquez 2014-ish. You know, the Japanese flag and maybe a little bit of hint of Zarco, but if he was black and white. I think he's also got some Japanese symbols somewhere with the 24 on the back. It's a very nice looking lid. Oh, Nelson's down. Oh, and Rick. Oh, I think Rick's. Oh my lord, what have I? It is 20. It's season 2 all over again, except it is at victory corner, and just like that, Jack is into 3rd place. Jack this morning on his Instagram apologised for his lack of performance in the past 2 races. Well, no, this would be the best way to apologise, I have to say, with bringing home a podium place. And Fadley's also got a long lap penalty. Nelson looking up the inside of Fadley in the braking zone of turn 3. He forces his way through, and Fadley's going to take his long lap. Let's see if he can achieve this well. Ooh, that's going to be close. And he has not completed. That is very harsh, to be fair. Howland, we've seen him in this situation before. He really crashed in this session, I believe. I might be wrong there. I can't actually remember. Actually, no, the gap it is, I don't think he has crashed. I think he's just been caught up in a lot of action, which has pushed him down the order. And he doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence around this place compared to Catalunya and Assen. Honda simply just won't work here. But Finley is on the back of him, so 2 HRC bikes inside the top 5. It was 1 in the podium spot, but obviously that's over. But if any of these front guys make any mistakes, it can sure be a battle for the podium. Finley once again is running inside the top 5. He was a little bit disappointed yesterday because he never got a proper lap in, and it was just like Catalunya. He never got a proper lap in, but he's putting in a consistent run right now. He's running inside the top 5, which is all you need to do really. Stay on your bike and pick up all the pieces of all the chaos, and you should survive. As Rick and Adam are having a good fight here for 6th place, and Rick goes through on the Yamaha. Do believe Adam is 2nd in the championship. I don't really know this, but I'm guessing that's where he is. And Rick, he's got the pace, just unfortunately I think he's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time in terms of the start, and he almost got the whole shot, but he didn't take he braked quite early, and that sort of got him swarmed. So maybe he needs to be a little bit more. Well, I think he took that more cautious option because of how the first one went, which is understandable. But here comes Adam, he's in the slipstream of the Aprilia, and somehow that Yamaha's pulled up alongside onto the brakes, and Rick holds off the Yamaha. You'd think that Aprilia would be able to escape through the straights, but that Yamaha, if it's in the first 3 gears, the Yamaha can claw back on the exit. And look at Finley up front. He's staying with Howling, who is I think he's playing a more consistent run in this lap, and he's starting to slowly catch Jack, and he's ran really wide at the hairpin, but he's going to get a good exit. As we go down into the 90-degree right, where I can imagine we'll start to close up on these guys. So Finley doesn't seem to be so strong in this back end of the circuit, but the first half he seems to be quite decent. So the track's quite unique. The first section's all about hard braking, the second section's all about corner speed, the third section is a mixture of both, and Fadley's gone down, and the final section is just an absolute nightmare, to be honest. But they're all quite similar but unique at the same time. So, and especially if any of them have chosen the wrong brake discs, they will be in trouble. And Nelson has gone down again, and VTR has been caught up. It's been a disastrous few rounds for VTR with crashes and just being really unlucky, to be fair. And Fadley's going to go round the Suzuki, and VTR's down in last place. Just a terrible few rounds for VTR right now. He's got the potential to be fighting for the podium, which he knows. Just unfortunately, it's just not going the way of his, but it's how it is sometimes. Back at the front, Saya's gap has been reduced from 1.8 seconds to 0.8 seconds. So Platt is slowly chipping away at this gap, and I think he will be in range to attack should Saya not making any mistakes in about 2-3 laps time. But Platt, ever since being forced out of the way by Sire, has really had to work. He had to pass Nelson, and he's closed the gap down. But I can imagine this, if Sire can win this, would be pretty big for him. If he can just cross the line now, this will be the longest he's led a race for. He possibly should have won in Estoril. He possibly could have won in Austria. He possibly could have won at Termas. All those 3 races, he's ended up on the floor whilst leading. Hopefully, 4th time is the charm, and Adam has got himself a long lap penalty. Hard on the brakes for the season 6 champion. Going from a Ducati to a Yamaha, we've seen with Dovi, not the easiest thing to do. Platt's got 3 warnings, Vito's got 4 warnings, so his day could really go a lot worse. I can't think how, but it's possible. And is Nelson starting to fall under the pressure from VTR? Nelson just does not look comfortable at all in that RC13, sorry, RC213V. And here comes Suzuki on the... Nope, I think Nelson's legs kind of helped him there. Through turn 5. That Honda just ain't working at all. And Rick now is on the back of Finley, trying to get a top 5 in his first race. The Aprilia versus the Honda, you'd think the Aprilia he's just going to round a corner off. And that should be the way to go. Oh, Vito's gone down again with contact with Nelson, so hopefully that wasn't lag, and hopefully that wasn't hopefully it wasn't anything stupid. But here comes Rick in the slipstream. He's going to pull out to the right, brake hard, but the Honda can brake very hard. That's its one strength that we've seen, and he's able to stay in front. And now into the change direction, turn 13, victory corner of 14. And now hard on the gas. Rick getting a nice exit, he pulls out to the right. And he's going to go up the inside of the LCR Honda into turn 1. Oh, big bobble on the front as he hit the curb there, and Finley retakes the position. Good save there by Rick. And here we go into Platt has got a long lap penalty. Sire, I hope you can hear this. He needs to know he's got a long lap penalty. Here we go. Could this be it? Right, so Rick comes down the straight, hard on the brakes, into turn 5. And Finley's just holding off the Aprilia through the 180R into the... Oh, Finley's had a massive moment through there. Rick goes round the outside, managing to take avoiding the action. Good job not to go off the track, and he moves inside the top 5. 1.7 seconds to Howling, who's caught up to Jack by over a second in the past few laps. This could be a 3-way fight for the final podium spot. Very possibly. Platt's he's gonna wait to the long lap on the last lap. That's the smartest option to do. Put Sire under as much pressure as possible, then take your long lap. The longer you leave it, the more pressure you're going to put the rider in front under. Especially if they don't know. 8 tenths of a second the gap now. Howling's under. As this race has progressed, as the fuel goes down, he's starting to understand the Honda. He's starting to understand the circuit better. The more laps he's put under, he's just gaining confidence, and that gap is starting to shrink. 0.6 seconds the gap now. Howling could be in firing range. If only we could have the AWS striking system they're using Formula 1. And the gap's now half a second. The gap is shrinking very, very quickly here. So we're hoping to use all the webs he can with his Spider-Man helmet. Can his Spider-Man helmet give him some superpowers and defend using his Spidey sense? Hard on the brakes into turn 5. Howling's really closing up. Oh, I guess he's gonna get quite excited when we know Howling's biggest strengths on the brakes, as we've seen on the Honda. Oh, I think Platt's tried to take his long lap penalty. what's happened. Or he's made a mistake in the. I don't know quite what's happened, but he's either attempted his long lap, or I think he's made a mistake somewhere. But the gap's now increased to 4.4 seconds, and that might be race over for Platt. We have to see. Oh, Rick's gone down. Rick has lost the front, I think, at the hairpin of turn 16. I think if Alan could play any song right now, it would be the Jaws music. But Jack's held him off for this lap. He's got the gap back up to 0.7 seconds. Hard on the brakes into the 90-degree corner downhill, bit off camber. Hamlin's outbroke himself a little bit, and the gap's gone back up to 1 second. So 2 laps remain of this race, and Nelson's gone down again. Mamma mia. So Sire, 2 laps to go. He's just got to keep riding, and he'll do this. Does Platt take his long lap penalty this time round? He does not. So he'll have to do this on the last lap. Jack into turn 3. Howland's got to be careful. He's only got 1 warning left. And you know what, Jack? I don't know what's happened, but Jack's clicked into another gear, and he has started to pull away from the Repsol Honda. Something I reckon. Howling made a mistake in Assen with his fuel mapping. I'm starting to wonder if he's done that again on accident. He maybe got a bit too excited closing in the gap and forgot to change his fuel mapping, and that's why his pace has really gone off. He's lost 1.5 seconds on this lap already, and Finley started to go Nelson, and he's gone. Well, that's his qualifying screwed up for next week, if it couldn't be screwed up already. Finley could start smelling a 4th place here. The gap is, I think Howley's made quite a mess up here in terms of power mapping. That's the only thing I can think of. But a sudden lack of pace, because he was in a really good rhythm, and he was really motoring along, and now it's just come to a sudden stop. And look at the gap, under a second now. Now I think he's made quite a mistake there through Victory Corner. I don't know, but it's the last lap. Here we go. Does Platt take the long lap? No, I don't think it really matters, to be honest. He's going to finish second either way, unless Sire dumps it on this last lap. And Adam is 0.6 from Rick. I think that gap might be a bit too much, but if he can, actually no, he's closing that gap quite quick. He might be able to do one last ditch attempt, maybe to the 90-degree or final corner if he wants to take ultimate risk. But Sire, he hasn't won a race since the final race in season 6 at Tourmaster Rio Hondo. Down the hill he goes, onto the brakes. Just 3 more corners to negotiate now, under the tunnel, through the penultimate left, into the final left, into Victory Corner, and Sire is going to win his first race of the season. Does he pull a wheelie? No, he's going to just gas it straight to the line. Sire wins his first race of the season. Platt finishes in 2nd place. He'll extend his championship lead because all the other challenges I think are nowhere. Jack is going to finish in 3rd place. Howling is just going to survive in 4th place. Finley closing up to 0.3 of a second, but just not enough to get the position. Rick holds on to 6th place. Adam is 7th. Fadley will cross the line in 8th, and VTR has had an absolute stinker in 9th place. An even bigger stinker is Nelson in 10th. Words don't really describe this race for those 3.
In a moment we'll go live to Park.
So Sire takes victory with Platt in 2nd, Jack in 3rd, Howling 4th, Finley 5th, Rick 6th, Adam 7th, Fadley 8th, VTR 9th, with Nelson in 10th. So we'll move straight on to the interviews. And that's handy. Jack's already joined the party. Hang on. I'll meet the pair of you because I've no idea which one will be which. Hello. Right, Jack, so on your story this morning you put an apology for your performance for the past 2 races, and well, 3rd place, that must make it better. Yeah, so well done. Return for the podium, return to the podium for Suzuki as well. After some good early form, a little bit of a dip in the past couple of races, but you're back. So congratulations. So we move on to 2nd place, which is Platt. So Platt, you got. I'm trying to remember this. You were, I think, you were leading on lap 1, but then I think it was lap 1 where Saya put the quite hard move into the final corner, and then you got pushed back to 3rd. It took quite a while to get through on Nelson, and then you caught Saya. Well, you were catching Saya, and then I didn't see what happened, but you lost a considerable amount of time, and then you just settled for 2nd place. So how was your race?
Well, the start was alright. I managed to get into the lead and I made a little mistake, so I managed to get past him. So I decided to relax a little bit, but I got a better drive onto the straight. So I just slipstreamed past him, tried to hold the position, and yeah, into the chicane on that first lap. I wasn't really expecting a move, I took quite a tight line, but he sent it up my inside. I ran wide and lost the position to Nelson, which was quite unlucky, but I managed to fight my way back through with a rather aggressive move on him after what he did to me on lap 2. But yeah, other than that, it was an alright race. Up to lap 9, my monitor turned off. That's where I lost a lot of time. Yeah, I was closing the gap. I was actually looking to get my long lap penalty removed as well, which I didn't take it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was trying to close the gap, and just that little error meant that I couldn't clutch off and have a little fight at the end. But well done to Saya on the first win of the season, and I'm looking forward to more battles in the future.
Yeah, well done. You've extended your championship lead anyway, I believe, because I think Adam was 2nd from some point. So yeah, congratulations. And your winner, Saya. It's been a while since you've won a race, and every time so far this season when you've led, you've ended up on the floor. So I'm pretty sure that must have been on the back of your mind when you get to the closing stages of that race. But you held your nerve and you won in great style. So congratulations and welcome back to P1.
Oh, thank you, Jack. I really target to win this race, and been done a lot of practices, FP1, FP2, and during warm up, Platt had found something. It got me into my nerves, so I just try to keep my head straight. And I was too hot on the move I made to him on the last turn. It was my mistake, but I had to keep on moving, and I know he had the pace to catch me up too. I tried to keep my head down. I made a couple of mistakes while he's catching on me, and the Ducati power is crazy on this track. But I just keep the momentum and try to bring the win home, and I'm happy. But I'm sorry too for Platt. The screen turned off. It couldn't be a battle or a win for him. We'll see next round. I'll try to keep the same momentum, and well done to Jack as well. That's all. Thanks, Zach.
Yep, well done. So that's it for round number 8. We'll be back next week. Yes, we're back next week for round 9. I can't remember where that is, but we'll be there next week. Goodbye.